So he's not human?
Hints all over the place.
Yeah.
We still haven't really covered what Sumeragi is guilty of. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Gundam 00. We come back as we normally do with notes and a board. So let's look at that board real quick, where I do have a board change log. Cycling through all of my friggin' open notepads here. I added Laguna Harvey. I connected Laguna to Ali with a green line. I connected Johan to Laguna with a green line. I connected Patrick to Katie with a purple line. I connected Ali to Kinue with a red line. Then I marked Kinue as dead. And then I connected Wang Li. Sorry, wrong show. I connected Wang Lu Mei to Johan with a green line. I should note that we're using the board from our own website, which I haven't yet clearly coded for group lines just yet. So that's why there's a bunch of characters who are unconnected to everybody else, and where I would normally connect specific things together that way are not being done here. By which I mean Wang Lu Mei and Hong Long I would typically connect to Trinity as a group, but in this case I'm just connecting Wei Lu Mei to Johan individually. Johan is the leader of the group. Wang Lu Mei is the leader of her two-person group. I don't know. It feels weird to say she's the leader of her two-person group when I'm talking about Johan, who's the leader of his three-person group. Great delineator there.
Cell is a better term.
What?
Cell. A two-person cell, a three-person cell.
I wasn't hemming and hawing over the definition of group. I was hemming and hawing over the element of saying they're the leader of two people versus the leader of three people. For some reason in my head, being the leader of two other people sounds more valid than being the leader of one guy.
I mean, yeah, but if I may, you can simply say Lu Mei is the leader of the Lu Mei cell. And it doesn't matter how many other people are there. People know, oh, okay, that's a,
Again, I wasn't quibbling over the definitions of terms. I was quibbling over how valid it feels to say. And again, it wasn't the element of the group part. It was the, if you have a villain in a cartoon, Dick Dastardly. Dick Dastardly has Muttley. Is Dick Dastardly the leader of a group, or does Dick Dastardly just have a guy, right? That's what I'm saying. Johan, the leader of the Trinity, has two people. Is two people that much bigger of a group to make that valid distinction feel any more valid? How many people does a group make? I guess now I'm getting into the definitions of the words, but it's the element of how many people do you need to be working under you to be a leader?
Just the one person, really.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel that strong. Then again, this is the inches argument, right? Legitimately, I'm comparing one group to another group, and the only difference is one person. It's the Kiritsugu from Fate discussion. If we had to eliminate half the people from Trinity, and then what if we had to eliminate half the people from Wang Lu Mei's group?
Are those all your board notes?
Why? What do you think I'm missing?
Didn't mark Kinue as dead, or I missed that when you said it?
I said it, yeah. Is she not dead on the board?
No, she is.
Yeah, it was literally the second to last note.
Okay. Then I missed it then. I have nothing else to say about the board then. So let's go to notes. And I will preface this series of notes. A lot of them have questions and the word just escaped me. Theorizing, I would say. That's not the word I was going to use. About what is actually going on. So,
I mean, you'd have to. You haven't seen the show before, unlike me.
More than usual. So let's start with the non-secretary, shall we? Episode 19, Bonds. Unnecessary butt shot was unnecessary.
I mean, it's what I used for when we're talking. Yeah. You know how I have a GIF? Legitimately, her butt, and one guy talks, and the camera pans over the butt, and then the other guy talks, camera pans back over the butt. I put it in a loop.
One butt cheek, another butt cheek, one butt cheek, another butt cheek.
I tend to try to avoid doing that kind of shit when I'm doing the edits on respectable shows. I couldn't figure out what thing to take from the episode. And I was like, well, this is clearly a loopable GIF. Why not? It just goes to show how hypocritical the celestial being philosophy of putting down conflict by force really is, that two groups with seemingly the same goals cannot coexist because the measure of what acceptable conflict is so razor thin as to apply to each other as well. I mean that while putting aside anything else, without consideration towards who works for who and are these really Gundams, because beyond what Nina did, they are essentially doing all the same things. Our main group sees it as different because they are on the inside looking out. It doesn't seem like that to the rest of the world, as much as a distinction. From the outside looking in, these pictures, ironically to a previous conversation we were having, look the same.
Yeah. For them, there's a distinction. For the rest of the world, it's a difference without distinction.
As I said, hypocritical because even from the inside, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah. And I would say, oh, yeah, but then I'm reminded of launching missiles into a building full of kids. And I go like, well, shit. Yeah. And that was seen as a good thing, as a good,
Well, you remember
mission
when Lock-On
accomplished.
got punished for a week for trying to save people because that wasn't the mission. We don't save people, they said, and then went on to start saving people.
Yeah. Nothing turns me against a character that the moment they go, the end justifies the means. I am looking at you, Liu Mei. Which, yes, it's a bit hypocritical considering what you just talked about.
I guess I'll just merge notes here. So Wang is more of an ends justify the means type. She supports celestial being regardless of their methods that their eradication of war takes.
Yeah. Which, again, I will highlight that it's a bit hypocritical considering what you just said. Not before this note, of course, your first note. And,
well, it's not hypocritical
everybody can
for
always
her.
make. Yeah. But for me to say, oh, by the way, I'm disliking this character and what they're doing, because they clearly express what's already been happening. For them, the eradication of war justifies everything they've done, including either, casualties between civilians.
Actually, she never actually says, I don't believe anyway, the eradication of war.
No, it's a translation, yeah.
No, I'm saying that what she says is changing the world. Changing the world is worth everything. So there's no telling, because you could see that from the other characters, where everyone else has been hurt.
And there's something else that she says later on, which I also have a note on. That was like, okay, so yeah, this is how far she's willing to take it. Well, you answered my note, but not a note, so I go to the next note. Oh no, the Durandal, I mean, Ribbon smirk.
No, Durandal really smirks. Well, I mean, he doesn't because he's a psychopath and he's just like gauging the room and smiling. But Durandal smiles when he smiles. Ribbons and say Hallelujah, wrong character. Ribbons and Alejandro just kind of same thing I do smirk. Because I got like a muscle twitch here because of TMJ. But they're doing it because
yeah,
I'm filled with mirth today.
Yeah, that's what I would call a smirk.
Yeah, I just mean that you're comparing them to Durandal offhandedly, and Durandal actually smiles.
Yeah, from time to time.
Again, he doesn't actually smile because he's like the psychopath, but I mean, he's camera ready, Durandal.
Yeah. But in the quiet moments, remember, I kept going, oh, there's that.
No, I know. I've got notes about it too. I'm just saying that legitimately, what I'm trying to indicate with what I was doing here is that they just like a little bit, like a half inch, like that's funny. They don't really move, whereas Durandal, I need everybody around me to know that I find this to be a good thing, because I don't know how to emote without seeing other people emote. So I'm getting on your comparison to Durandal. Durandal is, smile for the camera, whereas Ribbons and Alejandro, it's the Allah thing throwing me off. Alejandro and Ribbons are just for themselves. They don't need to make it big.
Yeah.
Christine was pretty quick to delete that picture. Shame, too. Johan was the most reasonable person in that conflict. Setsuna rushes in and commits the first strike, and everyone's confused. Even in the midst of fighting, Johan tries to talk things out rationally. Then, recognizing Setsuna isn't going to stop, acknowledges that they need to take him out before he hurts one of them. Calm, rational crisis management.
Yeah, but I have a note about...
I legit don't think you can say something negative about Johan.
Oh, yes, I can.
No. Michael is the quick to two emotions guy. Nina is the crazy psychopath. Johan is we've got a mission, we've got to do our mission. He is calm, rational, and again, he doesn't like. There's never a moment where Johan is like, we've got to kill those sons of bitches or something. He's not a psychopath. He's just calm, here to do a job. He's literally no different than, say, Terra meets Setsuna. Like, if you comment both of those characters together, that's Johan.
He just allows the psychopath to be a psychopath. Like, well, I guess
they're family.
I don't, if I had like a cousin or something or a brother who just murder a bunch of people, I'm like,
well, then you're not a good person, Lessons. I don't know what to say. Legitimately, I would. Your family comes first.
There's limits to what everybody comes first.
No. I got a family member comes over here with a bloody knife. We're hiding that knife. Legitimately, they're family. Family comes first. I will hide a knife for family. I'm a good friend. Well, maybe not, but I'm a good family. Well, I will hide a body with you if you're family. There's one thing you should be able to rely on in this world, regardless of how true it is or not, and it should be family. And Johan is I don't know if he's a good guy, but I'm just going to put him in that other category of he's a good guy. He stands up for his family against the rest of the world. He's calm, rational. He's the one you can talk to and believe. I believe you can believe Johan. I don't think you can say anything negative about him other than, I guess, his associations.
And it's a failure of leadership.
Yeah.
No, my next note then. And now Corner is doing it too. I guess he's far more than just an observer, which, considering what
maybe we should clarify what now he's doing it too.
The smirks. He's also doing the smirks as well.
All right, well, good thing you had one more smirk thing, because I'll merge it into another one of mine. In the realm of grins, because that's where I put this. That was like a grin to me. Whatever the third stage is, Ribbons is happy about it, seeming to show he enjoys progress. Alejandro grinned at the thrones subverting Tiara's control of them through Veda, so seeming to show that he enjoys exerting his authority.
Yeah, I guess I have more notes about that, so
right, but I was just covering grinning. So I would put all my grinning into one note.
Yeah. And this is, because so the KPSA launched a terrorist attack on Ireland, which is not unheard of to have terror attacks outside of the immediate area, but the question is what they were trying to accomplish by attacking Ireland specifically.
Generally, what I asked during the episode.
Yeah. Because, you can attack another government. It's like, oh, these people are attacking us or supporting people that attack us or they're part of the problem. Because the idea, here's the thing. The media likes to point, and Double O doesn't actually do that, does? That terrorists are sort of, crazy madmen that they just go crazy and they just do horrible things just because. That's, and I hate to say this, but it's true. Terrorists they're crazy in a different way. They are crazy they're coldly logical in their application of terror and force, right? They don't mess around just, blowing up anybody. They want maximum results. So they're perfectly willing to murder a lot of people. That's what makes them terrorists. It's just that they want maximum results for their terror. And so attacking a bunch of people in a country that has very little relationship.
I mean, I would argue that you're looking at this from a probably wrong point of view. You're talking about, I was saying, you're using the word rational a lot, rational terrorism. These are Ali Al-Sachez's terrorist group. The child soldiers that, do you think that guy is the coldly logical guy who's coming up with all this shit?
Or
for all we know, sorry, I was thinking of a joke there, but I didn't think it was appropriate. Well, it's not that it wasn't appropriate. It wasn't a good joke. For all we know, he had like an emotional spat over like losing a bet or something.
Yeah, but it takes time, equipment, and all that to pull an operation like that, which...
Well, lessons, they didn't say they were suicide bombers. They just said they were terrorists, which means that he could have just sent his child forces over to Ireland.
And the bombs and whatever the weaponry they would
need. Yeah, again, Ali Al-Sachez, we know he's capable of doing shit like this. As I'm saying, that you're saying that these are the terrorists tend to be like this or tend to be like that. We know what these are like. We've seen the backstory. We've seen their leader. Like, legitimately, dude could have done it on a whim for all we know.
Your next note, then.
I suppose the note is that Tiara's Gundam, or maybe even Tiara themselves, has the ability to control anything linked with Veda via the trial system. Unsure if that is a play on trial as in a test, or a test for something out, or trial as in to judge something. I guess they both have the same sense to them. I just don't get why it has to shed all of its armor to do so. If it's just a signal it sends out, it seems like it should be just as viable to do that with the armor up.
Yeah.
Also, conceivably, I don't know what the fuck is coming off of it. If it's doing that via anything connected to Veda, then legitimately nothing coming off of it needs to do anything. Like it, Tiara should be
But
able
it
to
does
do. Tiara should be
more.
able to do that from across the globe.
Yeah, but it clearly it's more than that because there was an impact on the pilots as well. So
No, not on the pilots.
that,
On Purple Haru, there was. Purple Haru says it hurts. It hurts. There's no reaction other than what the fuck's going on, between the Trinity members. But I mean, ultimately, if it's I can do this to anybody connected to Veda, then legitimately it's just Tiara connects to Veda, connects to whatever they're connected to, shuts off that connection. Or technically, in the real sense of the term, Tiara connects to Veda, shuts off other connections from Veda. So, in the realist sense, I don't know what the fuck is coming off of the suit. It seems completely unnecessary. It'd be like if I wanted to shut down your internet, I wouldn't just for some reason, I wouldn't just hack into your local DNS or whatever. I would instead have to go there and set off an EMP near your router for some reason. I have the power to shut off anyone connected to your cable company by going there and shutting down your cable company. That seems highly ineffective.
yeah. Well, I guess he might not have that power for long, considering what again we see later in the episode.
It's just an
the second
understanding of
episode.
what the hell's happening visually. Visually, I think they came up with a power, and we're like, I don't know how to. What do we do? Yeah, what do we do with this?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be sending waves off of him, and it's going to turn all this stuff off. EMPs? Well, no, because we're going to do something later. If they ever want to put them into a position where EMPs work against them or don't work against them, they can't have Tiara do EMPs. So,
my next point then. I really cheered up when Luis broke up with Saji. At least when I'm watching again.
So
I'm
one
like,
sentence.
God damn it. Yeah.
Well, then I'll merge. I really want to say something about Saji and Louise, but I also really don't want to spoil anything. As I've said across 2 reactions now, they really are my favorite part of the series. They are a cute couple, but they are also the normal person perspective in a show filled with a wide variety of not man-on-the-street views. Obviously, after all of this, their perspective has to be changed forever, and that's a shame considering it means things can never really be the way that they were before. I get the why of what's happening. It would defeat the entire message of the show to have 2 people somehow go the length of the show untouched by what was happening. So having our perspective characters marred by it shows how real it is for everyone. But as I said, the sadness is for the innocence that can't be got back.
I agree.
So my problem is the moment I read things can't be the way they really were before. Linkin Park started going in my head.
Yeah.
In the end.
Actually, that song fits pretty well, that whole scene,
Things the way they were before. I can't even recognize anymore. The things that I got the beat in my head. I can't remember the exact words.
So to my next note then. So Laguna is, at the very least, one of the people funding the thrones and also controls the space elevators.
Laguna Harvey controls the orbital elevators and has his finger in the news.
Yeah, because he's an investment on the GNN.
Apparently, he's the richest man alive.
Oh, yeah. Also, the thrones have no self-awareness whatsoever. One of them butchered an entire wedding party and nothing came of it, which leads me to believe that they're not quite human.
You say they have no self-awareness, but having no consequences to your actions requires no self-awareness. You're saying nothing happened to them because they didn't do it, Nina did it. That's why before when I was talking about the thrones, I said beyond what Nina did. Because Michael is a bit off kilter, but he hasn't individually done anything to that level. And Johan, as I said, eminently reasonable. They apparently just weren't paying attention when Nina flew off and had her mishap. Because that's what she said. Ah, it's lost control for a second. I mean, I haven't seen anything that implies that they're not human. Let's see. I suppose, in a way, Ali is responsible for turning half of the Gundam Meisters into the people that they are today, manipulating Setsuna as a child and then making Setsuna do the things that would then guide Lock-On's path. In that way, at least, it gives the majority of the main characters a target for their revenge. Add on to that what Ali does to Kinue later. All we need now is for Saji to find out, and that'd be 3 main characters with a need to take Ali out.
Yeah. Ali is reminding me more and more of, what was his name?
Ali Ababwa?
No.
Strongest 10 regular men, potentially.
In Gundam Destiny, the guy, what's the name of the guy? La Rusette? Yeah.
Rao. Once again,
Rao,
you can't remember the simpler versions of their names. 3 letters. R-A-U.
Rao. Yeah, Rao, without the mask, but the more of the nihilistic, I'm just doing it for shits and giggles. Although Rao was more, I got hurt, therefore I'm going to hurt the world, right? He's literally the example of hurt people, right? Right. I have a shitty background.
I mean, I think what's his name?
Abused.
The blonde kid is more the example of that. The one who leads the racist group. Because you see, when you finally see his backstory, and he was just like made fun of in school. That was it.
Yeah.
Because Rao's whole thing is, I don't really think we ever get much beyond his, I'm a clone of this guy, and he really wanted his other son, the other guy who looks exactly like me on the other side. Rao's whole thing was mostly, I'm a bad clone. And not the I'm a bad clone, like a bad person clone. I mean the failing clone, like I'm a representation of the falling apart of mankind as a whole representation of self. So I've gone to nihilism as my solution to that.
I'm dying, so I'm going to take the world with me, basically.
Yeah. And you're saying that as a representation of who? Ali?
Ali reminds me of a bit.
No.
Ali is more like shits and giggles kind of guy.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody in Seed that would be representative of Ali. Maybe Waldfield is a good guy version? Old Waldfield, before the incident.
Yeah.
The Waldfield that was like, well, looks like I'm dying today. No, that guy. Not the guy who comes back later.
Well, anyway, my last note for this episode, but I have more, of course. I don't like the fact that the governments of the world received the apparent solution to their problem on a silver platter. Although, I do have more comments on that, but that's kind of the entry.
Literally, I just edited that episode today where I already heard you say that again. Or previously, as it were. Well, though I was also present during that recording, too. I heard you say it the first time. I mean, I disagree with it, but it's whatever. Saji's sitting at the airport checking his emails. A couple of things you can read into, like the number starts at 304, but the first email that we see is 235, and he doesn't scroll through 69 emails to get there. Meaning he is deleting emails, but not specific ones. So he's always been saving the emails that Luis sends him. The first message from Luis we see him look at, again, was her letting him know that she had arrived at her cousin's place, expressing surprise at how much everyone had grown since the last time she was there, and how she was sure that he missed her. Then the next email talking about how the party is going to be in the courtyard of her cousin's house, how it's an old house that's been renovated, and the courtyard is quite spacious, that they hired their own chef, and how she was looking forwards to tomorrow's party. Finally, he scrolls back to her asking for help on yesterday's engineering class. These are going in reverse order, obviously. Engineering class because, despite her insistence, she apparently slept through the class. The new email, and Google Translate sucks, so bear with. Thanks for your get well wishes. Have you boarded the plane yet? Perhaps they're still in Spain. I think you've been absent from classes quite a bit. We have to hurry home again. It must be an I, but the translate says we. Please give my regards to your sister as well. Saji's dream is my dream, so please study hard. Wait for me in space. I'll catch up soon. Pointedly absent of all the frills and decorations from each other email that she's sent had, which was all filled with like teddy bears and background art and whatnot. I think the roughest part, as an outside observer to their story, is that Luis was the one that always initiated everything. Their relationship started because she approached him. She's pushed him to understand that they were in a relationship and that he should want to pursue more the whole time, even the rings were ultimately her idea that he worked hard to make real. So seeing Saji alone is seeing him without his prime motivator.
Yeah. And then dot 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 dot.
No, I think she's already dead by that point.
No, that happens in the next episode.
Oh, this is that episode.
Oh, the second episode? You already are in episode 20?
My notes are in the second episode now.
No, but that scene happens before that. Because what happens with her sister?
It doesn't matter. Sachi doesn't even know yet.
No, of course not. But we do.
I mean, she's dead. He gets home, and she's dead. He doesn't know. Oh, she's off on a trip. So it doesn't matter, because he doesn't know yet.
To my next episode 20, Blades of Reformation. Now, this is pure speculation, but it's something that came in my mind. So, the Thrones uncover large areas with their GM particles. Those particles fuel weapons and make regenerating tissue impossible. And now the governments of the world got handed the GM generated by the way of the what I'm calling the Laguna faction. Could the plan be to poison the planet and drive humanity into space?
They already have space colonies.
Yeah, but majority of people still live on Earth.
Well, I mean, that's always probably going to be the case. The only way to get the majority of people off of Earth would be to kill everyone on Earth.
Or force them out.
No, I mean, I don't believe you could create a situation where the majority of people would be forced off the Earth. More people would go underground than they would go into space. It would just be such an undertaking. Like, even with the fact that you have 3 space elevators, the element of getting everybody from their collectives on the ground to the space elevators would be more than... You remember in when we watched... That wasn't Pathfinder. What the fuck was it called? Seedmaker Star? The thing that we watched after the end of the season of Gundam Seed Destiny, but before the movie.
Yeah,
I understand that we watched it in movie form.
Yeah, I think it was Pathfinder, I think it was.
Nah, it wasn't Pathfinder. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, whatever it was. We were seeing the events of Break the Earth in the very first half of it, and like everyone's like fucking dying to drowning and whatnot. The majority of people did not escape to space in that. They stayed on Earth and just tried to ride it the fuck out. Like, I think you're either going to end up killing everybody, or the majority of people are still going to be on Earth. They're just going to be on a ruined Earth.
I mean, I'm speculating that might be the plan. Or
just because you're speculating doesn't mean it's free from my ability to counter without spoiling anything. I'm not telling you anything about anything that happens. I am just entering into your space of maybe they're trying to get people off the planet, and I'm saying never going to fucking happen. Legitimately, I can think of, not thinking about it, no cases where that's ever happened. I was thinking of Project Genesis, which is basically 99.999 whatever percent, I think it's actually 100% deadly, virus spreads to human civilization that inhabits Earth, the Moon, and Mars. And it just fucking kills everyone on the Earth. People don't try to escape to space, even though there is escape to space possible. I just can't think of, maybe there was like one RPG where Earth gets controlled by like space monsters or some shit, but that's the furry one where everyone goes to like the moon and becomes furries or whatnot.
It happens in the Firefly. Happens in Firefly.
No, they just say the Earth that was. They don't fucking tell us what happened to Earth.
Well, they basically shown that it's heavily contaminated, so it's like people just left.
They never show that.
There's an image of it, literally in the movie. I think it is.
No, that's not Earth. That's other planet.
Well, that's Earth.
No. You know what, Lessons? I'm going to cut you off right here. The element, we're just going to go yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, until one of us loads up the movie and just hits forward a bunch until we get to the scene. Again, it's very odd to see which countries still get referred to individually. In the past, I've mentioned how America tends to get referred to separately from the Union. Well, outside the UNHQ, you have the flags for the Union, the UAE, the HRL, but then also Germany, France, Spain, the UK, and most surprising of all, can you guess what the last flag is? I mean, you don't have a note about it yourself?
No. United States?
No. I mean, that's part of it why it's surprising. It's not the United States, even though you'd think the UN headquarters would still be in the United States. No, come on, take a wild guess. I'll even tell you. The colors are red and white.
Red and white.
It's a striped flag. 2 of those colors are repeating, red and white.
Geneva?
They've got one of the most famous people in history under their belt.
Would be a lot of famous people in
Yeah,
history.
but I mean, I think you'll agree with me. It's one weird and two pretty famous. You'll instantly know who I'm talking about when I tell you the country's name. It's big old Kent.
Germany, no.
No, but I already told you.
No.
Germany is one of the flags. It's not the one I'm talking about here. Germany, France, Italy, and Spain, and the UK are there, plus this one.
Canada, red and white. Yeah. Japan,
I told you it's a striped flag.
striped flag. There are a lot of striped flags out there. Like,
yeah, but you listed two countries which famously have icons. Although I would say Japan has a
Canada. Canada is a striped flag.
Yeah, but it has an icon.
Stripes. Liberia, stripe, but also has an icon. Well, we have, if it's a striped flag with no icon, that's a lot of flags.
With only red and white.
Only red and white. Singapore?
I'm also not arguing with you. The element is that, it's just a lot of countries that share this color motif.
Yeah, so, there's a lot of countries. I don't know.
What was your final guess?
I said Singapore, but clearly that's wrong.
Nope. The final flag in the lineup outside the United Nations is the Austrian flag.
Austria, not Australian. Austria.
Austria, yes, Austria. One of the most famous people in the world comes from Austria, as we all know.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah. Well, Hollywood famous, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
Because there's another person that could be Austrian, but yeah. No,
I mean, let's put the German flag outside the UN headquarters along with the Austrian flag. So who knows what that means?
Yeah, let's not do that. Famous painter.
It's a weird combination of flags. So again, not the American one, which is the one you'd think would be amongst that lineup.
To my next note. Not only do they hand over GN drives, but also mobile suits that can use them. Can we call these new machines Gundams?
Yes.
Okay, that answers that question.
We've already had this discussion before. I mean, not even specifically here. We've just said what makes a Gundam, and that is the GN drive. The new unified military is said to be over 1,600 mobile suits, which would be double the last operation, at least according to Sergei. The visual on that is up in the air, as per the previous blurb that I read out in that other episode.
Yeah. But the linchpin of it is, now we have Gundams. There's that. Those are the ones that really matter. Even though Graham doesn't want to fly them because he's a flag otaku through and through. I'm
not going to say anything to that because it's my next note. That's literally my next note.
Okay, my next point. Kinoue, why did you get into that car? Never mind. I hate Alsa Sanchez even more now.
I think I'm going to hold off on saying some of that too, because that's literally my note after my next note, which is multi-paragraph, or no, it's just one paragraph. Yeah. I mean, this is more argument towards you. I don't think you can really hate Johan.
I can hate more than one person. I am no...
Oh, yeah, that's the best quality you have, Lessons. I particularly love how many people you can hate at the same time. It's your most human quality.
You're
the mirror universe versus a version of Data.
Yeah, I am multitasking if nothing else.
The number of people Lessons can hate at once. It's just those human. It's the most human of us all. To Graham's vow, I have to wonder then if he's never going to let the flag be upgraded. If he ever lets them change the flag design, then we start down a whole Ship of Theseus argument, just with how many upgrades can you make before it's a whole new model.
Yeah, I mean, he was already flying an upgraded flag to begin with.
Yeah, but now he's not letting them upgrade it with like a Gundam GN drive. So
yeah,
clearly he's now anti-upgrade. So all the upgrades he got was before he made the vow, I guess.
And this is an obscure reference, not to you, Theta, but probably to the audience. I don't usually call for this, but I hope Sachi will do to Alsa Shez what Veer did to Mr. Morden.
I got thrown for a second, only from... I thought you said Sachi. I'm like, who the fuck is Sachi in this show? You're saying Saji.
Sachi.
Yeah, well, I hear enough Japanese names across all the many, many shows that I watch that for a moment, it wasn't that, oh, I misheard a name. It was, who's Sachi in this show?
Yeah, nice Saji. I don't know why I wrote it wrong. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think the first time I watched this, I was upset about Kinoue dying from the aspect that Saji was my guy, and this was just going to be another blow to him when he was down. Kinoue, to me, was just an exposition character without any real connection to the world beyond investigating it. In hindsight, just by this episode alone, she's got a character all her own. She runs up in front of a car to get the driver to talk to her because she's driven. She second guesses herself when Ali suggests she get in the car if she really wants that interview. She knows the world is a dangerous place, but she's too driven to stop now. She blushes when he calls her beautiful. She's a person after all, and no one's ever really complimented her like that, not since we've been watching her anyway. Then she gets scared when she realizes he's telling her too much. A whole breadth of the human emotion in just over 3 minutes, leading to her death. Recognizing now that they put the effort in to make her that well-rounded at the very end makes it that much sadder.
Although we also had the whole thing with her father earlier on, those like
Legit means nothing to me.
So?
I mean, like I said, I just analyzed how many human emotions she went through and how, I just use the word human emotions, but how humanizing they are. Although she didn't hate a bunch of people, which we all know is now the most human thing you can do. Yeah, like I said, they put her through a whole one-man play, essentially, of her reacting to feeling different ways about things. But her dad thing doesn't mean anything because they've not established who the fuck that guy was. Saji doesn't talk about him. Kinyue once said mom and dad this, but that was like nothing. That was a throwaway line. And now her reaching for dad's photo. That's not the part I'm looking at. She's dying, and I'm looking at, oh, he broke her phone in half, because that's the first thing you see, and then obviously went through all her stuff, tossed it out into the rain, and clearly threw her wallet for some reason. Then, Saji is the last thing she says.
Again, this is more speculation on my side, on my part, so bear with me. So, the Corner family was the one that financed the second expedition to Jupiter? The one that found the Purple Harrow? And now he's going after Veda.
I don't believe that was implied.
He said basically his family had been looking forward to this for a very long time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I obviously don't know.
Somebody had to finance a second expedition.
I asked the question myself in previous notes. So what are these people? What are they doing out here? How do they know to be out here in the first place? All we know from what Alejandro says is that my family's been after this for a long time. That could be the implication there. I don't know. I also am not spoiling anything that I do know. But at the same time, I don't know from that scene in particular. I believe that would be a stretch to say that is indicating that. Or not that it's indicating, because you could say anything indicates something else. I would say that would be without evidence.
Like I said, it's speculation on my part at this.
It'd be different if, like, the dude who was in the helmet had, like, a thing of, like, red hair coming off the end. It's like, oh, that's actually Alejandro's dad, or, granddad, or whatever. Something like that guy looks like Alejandro in some aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, you're coming from the aspect he funded it, but it's just the element of, I don't know. That's
not him personally, but his family. Because he seems to be from a very important family. If he's talking about, my family has been going after this. This seems to be like a multi-generational project. Kind of what Schoenberg was
it
doing.
Doesn't imply implicitly that they've got influence. The Hatfields and McCoys went after each other generationally. They were a bunch of rednecks in the South.
Yeah, but it's like a Hatfield McCoy saying, we're fighting against each other. By the way, my family's always wanted to capture I don't know, an iron as we have to the secrets of the Monitor or something. It's like, what? Why? What would your family do with it? Right? What would you even know about it? What the fuck?
I'm just saying that all I'm saying is that generationally being after another family or another person doesn't automatically make you important or anything.
There has to be some connection there.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. You're making there be a connection, and I'm saying there's nothing to say that that doesn't fit. I'm just saying that there doesn't have to be, though. You would argue that the use of... I don't think my brain actually knows the words. Cutting down the extra fat on a narrative.
Editing.
No, I don't. I meant the words that I said, Lessons. I wasn't looking for a word.
Oh, okay.
The act of a narrative having as few pieces as possible would mean that wouldn't be a throwaway line, that would just indicate towards the thing. But then again, by the same token, you would just say, that's why my family did the thing with the Jupiter thing, He would just say it if it was the case. I don't know why he would be vague. Unless we're going to look back to this at some future point. Oh, he said this thing, and if we look back to this other line that he said 3 episodes ago or whatever. It's interesting to note that Ribbons was going to head to the moon on his own. Alejandro decided to come along, meaning that whatever happens there, this episode presumably, since they're there at the end of the last episode, what Ribbons does, he would have done alone. Whatever Alejandro does, conceivably might not have been done at all.
And Ribbon seems to have the same ability as Terra, be able to interface with computers remotely.
Well, that's literally my last note, so I'll just throw that in there too. And whatever Tiara is, Ribbons seems to be one too.
Well, I have 2 notes left. The destroy what you can't control philosophy from Little Miss Liu Mei. The world can't change. I might as well see it burn down. Like, oh, that's fun.
I mean, she didn't say she wants to see the world burn. She says she wants to see the world change.
But if it doesn't, she's like, oh, well, might as well break the world. Who cares? Or words to that effect. I am paraphrasing badly. And my last note. Did Schoenberg transfer his consciousness to or copied it into Veda? I doubt that anything good will come from Corner controlling it.
So you think if Veda is Scheinberg?
Steinberg, yeah. Well, basically, that's what Corner says. Corner says. So this is Scheinberg. Like, okay.
I don't remember him saying that.
Yeah, he basically says that. Which would only make sense.
I want to say there is a massive difference between he said that and he basically said that. You know what the massive difference there is, I think, Army of Darkness. Did you say the words? Basically. Isn't that where the Necronomicon and everything comes from?
Yeah.
The element that he didn't say the words, he just basically said them. Your Honor, and that's when I said, don't fire the gun. And then, that's not what he said at all. He told me to shoot the gun. He said, if you value your life, you'll take care of the situation. He basically told me to shoot the gun. Basically.
Yeah.
Well, if that was your last note, I believe that is it then. So nothing left to do here, but to hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, the morgue. That's Saji. Yeah.
It's been a hell of a
Jesus
week.
Christ. Yeah. I say it's Kinaway, but she's basically saying sister over and over.
I mean, it's
again.
more the why her thing. Also,
Yeah.
I mean, investigative journalist. You would think that she was putting herself in danger all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, he probably doesn't know the specifics of
I'm not
her
talking
job,
about
right?
him.
Didn't. Yeah.
The element, I'm not like leaning on the guy who's just experienced tragedy after tragedy. Like, come on, be a little more logical, my guy. Obviously not.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I got nothing to say about that because it is what it is. Obviously, nobody comes here for my emotional reactions to shit. When they happen, they happen.
Yeah, bro.
That's the unfortunate of the situation. This is what? The ending of Gunbuster, the ending of Diebuster, multiple parts of Made in Abyss. Like, I do cry for some of this shit, but it really has to hit me in a moment.
Yeah. You know, I was expecting a new intro, but
we're still in season 1.
Yeah,
we've gotten 2.
I mean, because things have
we've gotten 2 intros so far. I think there's 4 or 5, maybe 6. I can't remember. There's a bunch of intros for Gundam Below.
Yeah,
I would say probably nearly as many as there is for Iron-Blooded Orphans. Iron Blooded Orphans also has 2 seasons. However, this one has a movie, and Iron Blooded Orphans doesn't. Although Iron Blooded Orphans recently got a video game-based movie. For scale. So not him, technically. Basically.
Yeah.
少々お時間をいただくことになりますが。構わんさ。コーナー家はこの時のために200年以上も待ち続けてきた。
Well, you better hope you have
That's a
bottle
long
of
time.
oxygen.
Yeah.
クリス、ベーダを経由してトリニティを退けた部隊の映像を出して、できればこちら側のデータは
ブロックしてます。フェルト、ダウンロード終了。映像出ます。
Wouldn't that make have them control of both these Gundams and the ship?
They
Oh,
said they
everything,
blocked
really.
it. I mean, ultimately, I don't know
when
how
they-
you block the connection from the thing that prophesizes the future, but whatever.
ハロー、ラグナとの連絡はまだ取れねえのかよ。ねえよ。国連の新型といい、一体何がどうなってやがる。
ヨハンにどうすんの私ら。
Again, cold and logical.
どうだね、状況は。現在レベル5をクリア。レベル6の掌握作業に。
We know there's at least 7 levels.
退屈しのぎにこのような情報はいかがでしょう。ほう、ラグナ・ハーベイはジンクスの配置を終えたか。ということは、彼の役目もここまでか。
How he's gonna die.
Why not? Real easy to kill the richest man on Earth, I guess.
あんたフラッグファイターだろ。
My man, Patrick.
誰だ。この俺を知らないとはモグリだな。英雄のエースパトリック・コーラサワー様だ。
コーラサワー？
あ、うん。
ああ、一番最初にガンダムに介入されボコボコにされた。
古傷をえぐるな。
Hey, survived as many as you have.
ユニオンのトップガンどこや。
エーカー上級隊は本作戦には参加しない。
え、どういうことだ。あ、そうかい。臆病風に吹かれたってわけか。ユニオンのエー
That's
スの
gonna get you punched in the face. Yep. That. Yeah.
何を。
隊長を殺すな。
もう暴力反対。
そこまでだ。
You're a fighter pilot, and you don't believe in violence.
大佐。
ユニオンのダリルダッジ注意です。
I still prefer Patrick to Daryl any day of the week.
本作戦の指揮を任された。よろしく頼む、順位。
はっ、全力を尽くします。
戦果を期待する。パトリック、来い。
Like a dog.
大佐。
Actually, she says like a child, so.
戦果を上げるさ。そうでなくてはフラッグを降りた意味も隊長に合わせる顔もなくなる。
Legitimately,
Oh.
you're like the least. There's like
There's
2 of them left, essentially. Him and
Yeah.
Graham. And he's the one who's been getting no screen time. Giant red
Well,
flag,
now.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Giant red flag.
無理させちゃって。
Yeah.
助かります。ありがとうございます。
Amphetamines. Yay.
任務ですから。
システムの構築具合は？
8割といったところです。でもいいんですか？ガンダムからベーダ
Oh, they're setting up an entire new system so that Veda.
Nothing like programming one-handed with your head turned away and talking.
これお酒じゃないですか。
ああ、ごめん。最近柔らかくなってきた。
Well, at least they'll be isolated from the effects of Veda being the takeover of Veda.
そうよ。
いい傾向いい。
Assuming that they do keep themselves disconnected and don't keep reconnecting to get information.
もう一頑張りお願いね。
はい。
I'm gonna leave you 2 drunk in the cockpit alone.
Yeah.
What happens, happens.
ベーダのシステムを何者かが利用しているのは確実。しかし、ベーダなくして動画だけに対抗することなどできるのか。
Using your skills, man.
悩み
You're
事
supposed to be a Gundam Meister.
ロックオンストラトス気にすんなよ。たとえベーダのバックアップが当てにできなくても俺らにはガンダムとミス・スメラギの戦術予報がある。
あなたは知らないようですね。彼女が過去に犯した罪を。
知ってるさ。誰だってミスはする。彼女の場合そいつがとてつもなくでかかったがミス・スメラギはそのことを払拭するために戦うことを選んだ。折れそうな心を酒で薄めながらな。そういうことができるのもまた人間なんだよ。
人間か。ロックオン、あなたは僕のことを。
So he's not human?
Hints all over the place.
Yeah.
了解だ。
We still haven't really covered what Sumargi is
こ
guilty
れだ
of.
けは言わせてくれ。状況が悪い方に流れている今だからこそ4機のガンダムの連携が重要になる。
I mean, unlike Tiara, we're constantly getting flashes of their eyes doing weird shit.
その言葉
Yeah.
は刹那 F 精鋭に言った方がいい。
What, you mean the one character not in this shot yet?
The one having flashbacks about his past? Or this is the present and he's there? No, this is a flashback. Or a dream sequence.
Soren.
マリナ・イスマイ
こっちへ来て、ソレン。
I guess he has to respect her at some point, because why would you call her
Yeah.
princess if you didn't respect the title? It doesn't seem like he's saying it sarcastically, like Link to Zelda.
見て。この場所にも花が咲くようになったのね。太陽光発電で土地も民も戻ってくる。きっともっと良くなるわ。
Technically, it is the oldest version of solar power. Photosynthesis.
もう戦わなくていいのよ。
Famously, Soren, you have no enemies.
Just the one jackass. Yep, dream sequence.
What, you thought that was really happening?
マリナ・イスマイルが
Yes, you're in love with her.
それよりもやめたいのかやめたがっているのか俺は
13まもなく目標ポイントへ到着します。了解した。勝負ジンクス部隊ソレスタルビーイングの施設に対して攻撃を開始する。
Oh, we've been set up.
再び勝利の美酒を。
I mean, this has to be Africa. North Africa.
読まれていたのか。
So it's one down, 29 to go.
ハイメグ使って1機だけ
I mean, we know there's only 30 of them, so
俺を裏切った。いや、最初から葬り去るつもりだったのか。ラグナ・ハーベイ。
yep, get to mark him as dead.
スローネ、ドッキング解除。敵部隊の中央を突破する。
I'm rooting for the HRL now.
You mean the world?
ご苦労様。
But in this case, it's
United
HRL.
military right now.
Yeah. Bang along operating system, yeah.
Obviously, I can't root for anybody because I would tell you who's going to win.
スメラギさん、何が。
二人ともノーマルスーツに
Though I have been putting a lot of respect on Johan.
総員第一種
And this fucking guitarist.
部隊は疑似対応路搭載
Yeah.
型
We're kick off.
探偵
19機
すでに相手
I feel like we're about to start fighting Sid from Final Fantasy X.
ガンダム4機はコンテナから緊急発進フォーメーション S34 で迎撃
敵部隊0130まで接近。不
But technically, they did. They didn't catch you off guard, they wouldn't be this close.
Yeah.
各機フォーメーション S34
油断すんなよ。了解。了解。了解。
Yo, guy.
"僕の父はフリーのジャーナリストでした。
報道屋でクロスロード氏の名前を知らない奴はいないよ。お姉さんが我が社に入ったのはやはり親父さんの影響が。
父が取材相手の企業に濡れ衣を着せられ投獄されたことは
知っている。
面会に行った時、父は姉さんによくこう言っていたそうです。事実を求めつなぎ合わせればそこに真実があると。
そうか。だから絹枝はあんなに。
教えてください。姉さんは何を取材してたんですか？
Yeah, please help me send my entire family to their death.
姉さんは何を？
Again, I think it's your duty of care not to tell him.
絹枝は
Or you can just be an asshole. She got killed
I
for
don't
it.
think so.
Because she got killed for it.
イオリアって
ソレスタルビーイングの創設者と目される人物だ。すまないサジ君。
Also, you know that, Saji. It's been in the fucking news. Your sister talked about it.
But again, he's gonna go against Celestial Being instead of going after the real murderer because he doesn't know who the real murderer is.
Well, conceivably, he has already blame against the thrones for what happened to Luis. So,
Yeah.
and he believes that the one are the same. So,
こちらの行動を予測していたのか。優秀な指揮官がいるようだな。どっちでもいいさ。同性能の機体ならもう
my man, Patrick.
俺に分があるんだよ。GN フィールド。フィールドを抜けてきた。
just 2 shots.
確率が読まれているのか。
No, they got handed the specifically weapon to do that.
狙い撃つぜ。
Pop up is his name.
ただけかよ。
やるわね。先行する2機がエクシアに接近。
I mean, so far the thrones have been more effective. They at least destroyed one.
やれ。出番だぜ野郎ども。やっちまいな。
僕らの滅びは計画に入っているというのか？
そんなことが。
Did it just injure 2 or did it destroy 1 as well?
No, he damaged 2 of them.
Okay, so it's still only 29 left.
ベーダからのバックアップが。
Yeah, why are you idiots still connected to Veda in the first place?
やはり僕らは。どうしたんだ、エクシア。ガンダム。 僕らは裁きを受けようとしている。
冗談じゃねえ。まだ何もしてねえぞ。
僕はベーダに見捨てられたのか。
Conceivably, it's possible that they're still going to try and capture you.
ガンダムの動きがおかしいぜ。
何かの罠か。それとも。
同じだ。
That's the only reason I can think of that they stopped firing. they would start to try and capture.
エクシアに乗っているのにガンダムにもなれず俺は良いのですかアレハンドロ様世界統一のために国連軍の勝利は必須事項だ GN ドライブさえ残ればいつでもソレスタルビーイングが復活できる私は欲深い男でね地球とソレスタルビーイングどちらも手に入れたいのだよ
Conceivably, the thrones are also shut down on Earth somewhere.
予定通りこちらのシステムに変更了解
ここまでなのか俺の命は
もういいのよソラもういいの
マリンの違う俺はまだ生きている生きているんだ動けエクシア動いてくれガンダム
Yeah, but we know that's what the people on Ptolemy are doing. This isn't Gurren Lagann. He didn't reactivate the Gundam on willpower.
スメラギさんバーチェのシステム変更にエラーがどうして
お願い間に合って
Again, why did you assholes stop shooting?
Yeah.
They also didn't move the entire time that they were shut down.
Yeah.
Not Henry. 28. 28 to go. Then my boy Patrick's lost both arms now. Has to be GN arms if memory serves.
Yeah. Yeah.
27 or 26. I can't tell if he got 2 or 1.
Did they kill Lock-On?
Seemed to have been implied, but it's hard to... Nope, not dead then. The Hara was in the cockpit, so if the Hara was talking, then cockpit's not completely destroyed. Well, conceivably, if there's blood all over the place, then he's injured in a vacuum.
素晴らしい戦術予測だ。さすがはスメラギリー乗り絵が。
ガンダム各機デュナメスバーチェを回収急いでクリスティナモレノさんに連絡を
はい録音
Again, there's blood, which means there's an open in his thing somewhere. It's open to space because he got stabbed to the cockpit.
救護白への部隊としてはまずまずの戦果だな。
GN ドライブの解析と量産化を最優先で進めさせたまえ。
And you produce them in mass, I guess. Unless these don't require, you know, Jupiter's, you know, Jovian technology.
ガンダムの時代は終わった。これで世界が変わる。
I mean, conceivably, the age of Gundams has begun.
Yeah.
Because you're making your own.
Mhm.
Also, they didn't show us what happened to the thrones.
No.
Because if he's like, the Gundams have to be defeated for all this to happen,
Yeah.
then he must have shut down the thrones as well, who were in a worse spot.
They were trapped inside the base.
Yeah, well, I mean, that means that all the other guys had to do is target everything forwards. And he kind of showed off right where they were by the opening salvo.
Yeah.
I mean, they took out one from the get-go, though. Took our 4 guys longer to do that. Although, conceivably, they were going, 20 against 4. That was probably the Union and the UAE together.
Yeah.
Versus the other one was the HRL versus the Thrones, which I know you don't like the Thrones, so obviously you're rooting for the HRL, like you said. I like the Thrones. I don't like what they did, or what Dina did. But as characters, they're entertaining. Nina is a little psychopath. Michael, he's fun. Michael's a fun character. And Johan, I just respect.
2世紀以上に及んだ計画は一人の人間によって瓦解した。それは新たな時代の幕開けとなるのか。次回トランザム。それはパンドラの底に眠るもの。
That's right. We're going to trade in our Gundams for Transams.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, we're going to see what happens to the Trinity, because there's a bunch of Trinity weapons firing off there.
Yeah, I mean, everything happened more or less as predicted. I didn't expect
I thought you were going to pull a Palpatine.
No.
Everything has happened exactly as I have foreseen.
I didn't expect that in episode 21, 21, they were gonna, of the first season, gonna destroy the entire Gundams and kill everybody. It's like, oh, we got new characters and new machines.
How you do it for Transformers?
Okay. Yeah, and that didn't go well. When the kids were like, "Oh my God, you killed Optimus Prime!" No, that movie bombed because of that. At least in the American market, you know. In Japan, it's like, yeah, no, that's a Tuesday. Yeah.
I mean, remember that this is also on the verge of the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. I think this would have been better as a cliffhanger, although I don't know what cliffhanger we're going to be in the end of the season, though. But, you know, this would have been a good cliffhanger, but since it isn't, it's like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, can't blame it for not being a cliffhanger because it's not a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Because it's also not in the position to be one.
True.
We were real weird to cliffhanger now, and then just come back for next episode.
Yeah, I mean, the material as presented, except for the end that gets saved, right, would have been a good cliffhanger. It's like, oh, we're fighting, we're getting killed, Lock-On is injured. Oh my God, we're gonna lose. Boom, right there. Next season.
I mean, from the element of what makes a good cliffhanger, sure, but I don't think that would be a good cliffhanger.
Run that by me again?
Why?
Because you seem to contradict yourself.
No. I said, from the elements that makes what makes a good cliffhanger, sure, in that contains the qualities that make a cliffhanger good. But would that make a good cliffhanger? No. One is the scope of narrative production, right? What would generally make a good cliffhanger across all kind of media versus what makes a good cliffhanger for this, what we're watching.
Okay. What is your reason?
You can generally be a good thing to do and specifically not be a good thing to do.
Okay, fair enough. What wouldn't make this?
What would not make this? Would make that a bad cliffhanger? The element if I was watching this, I would be unsatisfied. I wouldn't be excited to see what comes next. I would be like, why the fuck are we stopping now? Because it doesn't set up anything. At most, it sets up, is Lock-On dead? No, it doesn't, because by the end of the episode, Lock-On's injured, not dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't cliffhang anything other than the fact that, it's the new normal.
It has the elements of being a good cliffhanger, but then at the end, they get saved.
No, I'm saying even then. Maybe, no, you wouldn't cliffhang here. This is the start. If you were going to cliffhang, this would be the start. You would cliffhang back at Antarctica when they're going and they see all the new GN drives. Like, oh, what the fuck does this portend? Because it doesn't answer anything. It asks questions, and then you ask questions. Like, oh, what the fuck? Where the fuck did this shit come from? Did Laguna give them this shit? Where the fuck does this come from? And then you ask the questions of, what does this mean? What is the world like when everyone's now got GN drives? Like, it leads you into a path of questions that makes you excited to find out the answers. Whereas, what questions are this? Because we've seen the fight. We've seen how a fight goes. Like, it just doesn't leave you anywhere. Like I said, you have to set up for a world-changing event, and that would have been, them going down and seeing the drives. Seeing an actual battle, that's not world-changing anymore. You've seen it. And it's not like, I would say the equivalent would be the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I can't remember the name of the base. The base that they have in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, it gets invaded, it gets blown up, destroyed, the Power Rangers are set off with no powers anymore. Zordon is dead as far as anyone knows. End season. That is a fucking cliffhanger, because what the fuck do you do now? The show is called Power Rangers, right? You don't, end it with them coming back with new powers and then beating the bad guys, and now wait for next season. It's like, well, no, we know what happens. They just did it. So, you have to have a good cutoff point. And what you've described is not a good cutoff point.
That's a moment of tension. You don't know how it's going to be resolved. They could be destroyed in the next season, so,
Yeah, but we've already established that
we don't know
they're
what
not
corner
overpowered to the extreme, that they can hold up.
And Corner is about to find the final level, the 7th level of
Ribbons is
Beta. Ribbons is right. So, and we're set up for mass production of Gundams of the GN drive. If it can actually be, I guess those GN drives can be produced on Earth as opposed to the other ones, and need to be produced in Jovian space. So.
Again, it doesn't work for me as a cliffhanger. It would be a weird place to leave a season.
Well, maybe if you arrange the final scene where the scene where Setsuna is talking, his mind to the princess is like, oh, you're done
worse.
now. Right?
I don't want to end the season on a dream sequence.
Mm-hmm.
That's nonsense to me. I'm not entertained by it watching the show right now. That's only I might be the element. I'm not a big fan of Setsuna. But the element, that's just doubled down. I mean, that's just the element. I'm not the market for it at that point, I guess. But for me, I just don't want to leave on. It's be like leaving Babylon 5 off with, I don't know, some ghost version of Baltar and whatever the fuck her name was.
Baltar. That's Battlestar Galactica, but sure.
What did I say?
You said Baltar.
No, I meant Baltar.
Who's Baltar?
Battlestar Galactica. I said Battlestar Galactica. That's why I'm saying. What did I say?
You said Babylon 5.
Well, that's clearly the correction to make would have been Babylon 5 meant Battlestar Galactica, not call me out on Baltar. I meant Baltar.
Yeah.
Gaius Baltar. And whatever her name was, whatever number she was.
7.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like seeing ghost versions of them and not the main characters doing shit. That's a horrible send-off. I don't give a shit about them. I've been following these actual characters. I don't want to see ghost versions of them in some other place.
I didn't care for BSG anyways after they blew up that one chip with a nuke, so I was like, I'm done. So
I don't think that really defeats my point, though.
Well, it matches your vibe in the sense that you don't really care about these characters.
No.
And it's like,
you're going to put that out there, and everyone who watched the previous ones will be like, oh, yeah, that's right. No, I've been expressing that I do care about these characters. I just said I don't specifically like Setsuna. I haven't called anybody else out. I mean, I recognize that Setsuna has more character than I gave him credit for last time. It's just, appreciably, he sucks. I mean, the element I said before, where everyone's having an argument on the beach, and they could have actually a pretty meaningful just dialogue, but then Setsuna comes in and says everything everybody already knows, and for some reason that's poignant because Setsuna said it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I used to believe in God, I don't believe in God now. It's like, okay, well, I guess that means something. But then again, he says it again 3 more times. Like, okay.
Yeah, main character syndrome, basically.
It just has nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Lock-On has a story. Alleluia has a story. Setsuna has PTSD. But, I mean, that's it. Everyone has PTSD. I guess I don't know what Tira's story is. Or at least I don't know what Tira's story is right now to the point I can share it with you. I don't know what you believe Tiara's story is at the moment.
He could be an AI.
I mean, from the element right now that everyone else's backstory's kind of been gone over, Tiara hasn't been given anything. So it's like, I don't think you could be attached to Tiara because there's nothing to be attached to.
He basically said, human. Like, I guess he doesn't consider himself to be human, but
yeah, the biggest hit there was, you know about me? No, nobody does. I just mean, again, Lock-On has a thing. The grave, the flashback, the terrorist attack Ireland, the guy hiding in the woods, and now the element that they're injured enough that we ended the episode on it. Hallelujah, the whole Soma human experimentation thing.
Also child soldier. That was ultimately what they were being apparently trained for.
Yeah, but he wasn't one.
I never made
Setsuna was a child soldier. These guys were just being experimented on.
But they did make a child
soldier. Stargazer. That was the thing we were trying to remember earlier. Sorry, half an hour later. Stargazer. That was the name of it.
Yeah.
Well, you remember, those kids were basically like the super soldier training thing, but they were also being trained as super soldiers. That guy, that was Tiara. I'm sorry, that was Alleluia that made it through a project, essentially. But Alleluia got out before ever becoming a child soldier. Soma is the example.
He's a teenager. He's a teenager now, so I guess he's still a child soldier. Huh?
As much as I'm not really in on Alleluia's whole thing, we know about it. Like, we could describe it if we needed to.
Yeah.
Lock-On is the one with the majority of that, I feel like. And Setsuna is like, it's regrettable, sure, but the problem I have is that the show puts too much importance on it. It doesn't let me feel that it's important by its own existence. If I was Peter Griffin, I would say it insists upon itself. Because that's what it does. Again, the show puts it in your face, and then it makes everybody else respond to it as if it's the most important thing, rather than everyone responding to each other naturally. Lock-On saying all this stuff, and then Setsuna finding out that he's responsible for that, and then the element that they've got a shared history against Ali Al-Sanchez, and nobody responds to each other naturally. They all respond to each other with the weight that the writers thought that everyone should respond to that. Which is to say, I think they're poorly written from that aspect. I think Saji has the most relatable story, while being completely unrelatable to me, because I've never had his experience. While at the same time, the world reacts to Saji the way I would expect the world to react to Saji.
Well, then, I think that's about it.
Sometimes I feel like you decide not to say anything else because you don't want to be associated with the conversation. You're like two steps away from leaning out of frame as hard fast as you can. Just all throughout, you're like, the reason I don't like Setsuna, you're like, sink back into the chair just like out of frame. Like, up.
And then nothing to do with me.
I didn't say it. All right, well, I guess with all of that said, then once again, I have been Theta, this has been Lessons, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?